Our theme for tonight is manifestations of good energy. So when we talk about good energy today, the kids like to say vibes. So they talk about positive vibes, right? So many parents try to teach their kids how to have positive thinking so that they can live with positive vibes. And they'll use the illustration perhaps of the little engine that could. Do you remember that story? It's about a small train engine that has the task of pulling heavy loads of toys and candies over a high mountain to a village on the other side. And so this engine initially doubts his ability to be able to do the job. I don't know if I can. I'm just a small engine. These are very big loads of candies and toys. I don't know if I can get them to all the children on the other side. But he decides to try anyway, repeating the phrase, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. He says to himself as he begins to climb the mountain. Now, as the mountain is getting steep and the load is getting heavy, he keeps repeating the phrase, I think I can. I think I can. And despite facing numerous obstacles and challenges along the way, the little engine maintains its positive attitude and keeps on pushing forward. So what happens? Well, eventually the engine successfully reaches the other side of the mountain, delivering the toys and the candy to all of the grateful children waiting in the village. Every child loves to hear that story because it's got a happy ending. But that story really is used to show the benefits of positive thinking and having a can-do attitude to help yourself to overcome obstacles, to allow yourself to keep pushing forward when the going gets tough and the load is heavy. The reason parents know to teach their children this is because they know their children will face obstacles, starting while they're still in school. They know their children will at times struggle and have difficulty being able to do what they really want to do. And so these parents understand that there's enormous benefit in having a positive can-do attitude. In physics, energy is defined as the ability of a system to do work. The ability of a system to do work. You see, having a can-do attitude or a positive attitude comes from the self-talk. As you notice in this story, the little engine that could because he said he could. He told himself, I can. He said, I think I can. And that positive self-talk led to positive motivation. That is positive energy. And how is that possible? Well, the thoughts lead to energy, and the thoughts come from words. And the words that we speak, the phrases that we speak, give us ideas. And the ideas that we hear are intangible forms of energy. And there are truly unlimited types of energy. As I mentioned in physics, energy is anything that allows you to do work. It's the ability of a system to get something done. Work is the transfer of energy from one system to another, or the conversion of energy from one form to another. So energy can be found in many different forms. So if we're thinking scientifically, you have kinetic energy, and you have potential energy. There's also thermal energy, electromagnetic energy, light energy, radiation energy, and many others. In fact, maybe we don't even know all the different types of forms of energy that are in existence. But when we look at the world around us, we can see that everything is made up of atoms and molecules. Each of the atoms and molecules themselves are made up of smaller particles such as protons, neutrons, and electrons. So that means these particles in constant motion have energy. They have potential energy and kinetic energy, which is stored in their position relative to other particles. So as particles are interacting with one another in various forms, these forces can also transfer energy between each other. And so all of these factors combined together have led scientists to one amazing conclusion, that everything in the universe is energy. Yes, everything is energy. Even mass itself. There's potential energy, there's kinetic energy, but there's always some type of energy in play, whether it's just being stored or it's being transferred. So when you recognize that everything boils down to energy, then you know for the health of the mind, which itself is an operating system of energy, and for the health of your emotions, which is itself energy in motion inside the body, we're going to have to make sure we are aligned with healthy energy. That is what I'm calling good energy. But when I am teaching this to clinicians, I call it propitious energy. Why? Well, because there are two types of idea energy that are intangible, coming into the ears, the eyes. Any way that we take in information, we are also taking in propitious and detrimental energy. Those are the two types of idea energy that we take in: propitious and detrimental energy, which really just means propitious, which is good for building up, and detrimental, which tends to tear down. So you have energy that's working for you, working with you, ideas that are coming in and motivating you. That's that propitious energy. And then you have things that are tearing you down, things you hear, words people say, ideas and concepts they give you, stories they tell, that demotivate you, that make you feel incapable, worthless. That is detrimental energy. So to make it more simple, let's use simpler words. You got good energy and you got bad energy. So if you have good energy and you have bad energy, how do we differentiate in our lives if something is actually good energy versus something being bad energy? Well, we could do several sessions and talks about the qualities and attributes of bad energy and the qualities and attributes of good energy. Tonight, let's just zero in and focus on good energy for a moment. Because if you can identify the attributes of good energy, then you'll be able to see the people in your life that have good energy. You'll be able to identify the people who would like to come into your life as to whether they are good energy or if they're bad energy. You'll be able to identify good energy in what you're reading and what you're studying. And you'll be able to make sure ultimately that you are good energy, that you are living your life in good energy, that you are speaking good energy, that you are taking in good energy, and that you are made up, you yourself, of good energy. And so I present to you the 9 manifestations of good energy. Let me list them off: compassion, ethics, happiness, serenity, flexibility, generosity, confidence, discipline, and patience. If you didn't catch them all the first time, don't worry, I will repeat them. But these are the 9 manifestations of good energy that you can be looking out for. And you'll want to make sure that you're building, that you're fostering these qualities, these attributes, these manifestations in your own life, so that people can recognize you as being a proponent of good energy. So again, that list is compassion, ethics, happiness, serenity, flexibility, generosity, confidence, discipline, and patience. Let's take a look first at compassion. Compassion is the feeling of deep sympathy, sorrow for another, the caring for another. It is love. When you are in good energy, when you have good energy, you have love for other people. You live according to love and purpose in your life. So you focus on the things that you feel good about. Love is the focus of, or the focus on, all of the positive attributes of the target. That's love. When we love a person, we focus on all the positive attributes. When we have compassion, we're approachable. People want to talk to us. They want to come to us when they have concerns, thoughts, feelings. So we want to make sure we cultivate that quality of compassion, meaning we grow it in the garden of our soul. The second manifestation of good energy is ethics. Being ethical means that you're moral, having a good sense of moral principles that govern your behavior. This is not about judging another person. Being ethical, being moral, is about, at the very core, being good. Being good means that you have boundaries against being bad. So you have internal boundaries. And so ethics are such a beautiful quality to have because they are your internal governing system. It means you have a government inside you that has morals, principles. Don't you want to be around a moral person? Don't you feel more comfortable? A person that's ethical? Be that. Look for those qualities in a mate and cultivate that in yourself. It is a manifestation of good energy. The third manifestation that I mentioned is happiness. Happiness. Happiness is a state of well-being characterized by positive emotions, contentment, satisfaction. It is smiling, feeling good. In order for a person to have happiness in their life, they have to be full of joy. That is celebration. You cannot be celebrating or be joyful if you do not feel gratitude. And so, really, in order to feel happy or to live in happiness, we need to do what? Feel gratitude. How do we feel gratitude? It's by focusing on the things we have instead of on focusing on the things we do not have. That's the key to gratitude. So focus on what we have and to appreciate it, to be thankful for it. The key to happiness is gratitude. That's the gateway to happiness. So if you're looking for it, how can I be happy? Happiness is not your end goal in life. Happiness is a byproduct of gratitude. It is a manifestation of good energy. And so when you live in good energy, you will feel happy. So seek gratitude. Choose to be grateful and meditate on all you have to be grateful for. Be a person that's thankful. And you will be a person that's also happy. The fourth manifestation that I mentioned is serenity. What is serenity? Serenity is defined in the dictionary as a state of calmness, tranquility, and peace of mind. Calmness, tranquility, and peace of mind. You want for when people to see your face, for them to see the face of a man or a woman that is serene. Your energy should be serene, that is calm, peaceful. in order to be a truly peaceful person, then we need to know how to resolve conflict, how to evade arguments, and how to be free to the extent possible of anxiety. A person who is serene is manifesting that their energy is propitious. The fifth manifestation of good energy is flexibility. Flexibility is having the capability to adapt to changing circumstances, or when conditions alter, you have the ability to bend without breaking. That's flexibility. So it doesn't hurt you or harm you to generally go to be able to ride the wave. I don't want to say go with the flow, because sometimes we can go with the flow until we've drifted off somewhere too far. But with flexibility, what happens is we're not overly staunch, overly strict, enforcing our own opinion, critical, harsh, judgmental. When we're flexible, we have the ability to be low-key, mild. We want to be the type of people who are moldable. Not in the sense that we don't have a backbone, but in the sense that we have the ability to show up like we're doing here as children ready to learn, able to listen to other people's viewpoints. That's a manifestation of good energy. You'll notice one of the first things you see in a person that has bad energy is they don't want to learn. They have an attitude like, you can't tell me nothing. They have their opinion and they're sticking to it, despite any evidence that is presented in contrary. A person who has bad energy is not flexible. They're not reasonable at all. They are staunch and unmoving. Not in a way that shows positive determination, but in a way that makes them just impossible to work with. Don't be that way. Show the ability to be a little flexible, to bend a little bit. Makes you a better leader. Makes you a better parent. Makes you the kind of teacher students want to learn from. And the kind of boss people want to work for. So show flexibility as a manifestation of your good energy. The sixth manifestation of good energy is generosity. Generosity is the quality of being kind and generous. Catch that again. Generosity is the quality of being kind. When I say generosity, I am not talking about giving everybody all your money. That's not the kind of generosity I'm talking about. Keep your money. You need it. What I'm talking about when I say generosity is having the willingness to give freely of your resources when it's appropriate. That's generosity. Your resources are far more than just your money, you see. And so sometimes, even since there's so much emphasis in our society on money, it can seem like that's the only way to be generous. But really, you could help someone more by being generous sometimes with your time or your energy or your knowledge or your talents or your abilities, just by sharing information with one another. We're being generous. So any of your resources, time, talent, body, beauty, abilities, capabilities, special skills, our money, our house, our car, our resources. There's so many different types of resources that we carry as an individual, especially our energy itself, our life force itself. especially our time, which is finite and unrenewable. And we share those things. That's generosity. It's kindness. Are you a kind person? If you're kind, then it shows you have good energy. So this is something you aspire to be. The seventh manifestation is confidence. So what is confidence? Confidence is the feeling of self-assurance arising from one's abilities, qualities, or judgment. When we're talking about self-confidence, but in general, it's feeling assured, feeling sure, if you will, of whatever we're placing our confidence in. So a confident person is resolute in their conviction. Confidence is about belief. In fact, in Portuguese, which is a language that I studied, they use the word confiar, means belief. So to be confident is to believe. It is also to have trust. So just imagine for a minute a man who has confidence, not just self-confidence, but faith, the ability to put aside doubt and fear. Imagine his face as he leads, maybe a ship captain who's confident, or imagine a pastor leading a march who's confident. We want to have this quality that they have. It's not that we need to lead a ship or a march. It's that we need to have faith, confidence, trust, belief. And when you're in good energy, you're in that space, that self-actualization, to be able to stay serene because you are confident. It's hard to have peace when you don't have confidence, and it's hard to have confidence when you don't have serenity. They play hand in hand, don't they? And so in order to cultivate more confidence, what do you need to do? Well, to cultivate more confidence, you must focus on all of the evidence that supports a belief, and you will feel more confident. For instance, picture a man who has faith. A man who has faith focuses on all the reasons and the bases for his faith, for his belief. And so if you're to have trust in an individual, you may have that trust because this person has demonstrated again and again and again that they are there for you, that they come through for you. That is you focusing on the evidence that supports your belief. That is where confidence comes from. And for self-confidence, it's no different. If you're going to be a self-confident person, it means that you will focus on all of the evidence that supports the belief in self. I've accomplished this. I've successfully overcome that. I've beat the odds on this occasion. And as you're focusing the mind on that, it produces a feeling, a sensation inside of you that manifests itself in your demeanor. And so they see that peace, they see that serenity because they're seeing your belief. They see your confidence. People love to be around that. It's a good leadership quality. It's a manifestation of good energy. The eighth manifestation is discipline. When we talk about discipline, we're talking about control, self-control. So people talk about self-discipline. And a lot of times they say, with self-discipline, it's like the ability to do something that you need to do, like go to the gym or eat right. I have good self-discipline. With self-control, a lot of times they use it in terms of the ability to avoid doing something that you shouldn't do, like not yelling or not hitting someone or being impulsive. But both are encapsulated in this concept of discipline, which is, according to the dictionary, the practice of training oneself or others to obey a code of behavior, code of conduct. Training oneself to behave or obey a code. How you doing in discipline? Can you train yourself to obey your own code? Can you resist impulsivity, temptation? Because there's moments that we want to do things that are detrimental, right? Someone is talking and then we want to just like talk over them. That's a lack of self-control, right? Or we say, oh, I really shouldn't eat all this ice cream, and then there's all this ice cream, and then you eat it anyway. It's a lack of self-control. But what's lacking there is discipline. It's the training of oneself to learn to obey oneself. You don't listen to yourself. So how do we listen to ourselves? Well, we got the two parts, okay? So you got the conscious mind and you got the subconscious mind. And if you remember in our illustration of the brain, when we split the brain apart, we got the amygdala here. The limbic system is connected to the brain stem, which is connected to the body. So the part of the mind that is most connected to the body is the subconscious mind. You see, so the subconscious mind is a representation of the flesh, the meat. And the fleshly desire is what? Gratification, pleasure, right? Avoid pain. And that's it. It's not deep, right? So you have a bodily desire to avoid pain, to gratify, and to get pleasure. So if you have an impulse, it's like, oh, I want to do that. It's like the dopamine. It's over here. It's over here, right? So to get into self-discipline, what we're doing is we're training in the self again and again by practice. That's how it's done, through repetition. The practice, you're running drills of avoiding immediate gratification, resisting impulsivity, resisting the tendency to immediately gratify oneself, to do whatever it is that impulsively comes to your mind. The rule of 7 seconds allows us to train self-discipline. 1, 2, 3, right? 7 seconds. So I look at the ice cream and I think, oh no, I don't want to eat the whole thing. Oh, maybe I'll try a bite. But then I say, you know what? Let me just chill. Let me practice self-discipline. I'm going to stand right here in front of this ice cream for 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What was the point of that? To show that I am in control. It's a demonstration to myself of my self-control. Because one of the most odious things that people say is, I can't control myself. I couldn't control it. Whenever I see that chocolate ice cream come out, I just lose control. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. You are living in a fantasy world. In the real world, we have control. And it is so important that we embrace that. Don't ever say, I can't control myself. I couldn't control myself. I lost control of me. No. You can lose control of a vehicle. You can lose control of a team, but you can't lose control of your own ability to control the self. At least it's difficult when you practice self-discipline, because you train like a muscle self-control. I'm giving you a different way of thinking, because your old way of thinking may have been, I can lose control. I lose control all the time. And so you're so used to this idea that you can lose control. I need you to think about this in a different way. When you train the muscle of self-discipline, you don't lose control. That would be an anomaly, meaning a very, very rare thing that you in some way lost control of some function. When you train self-discipline, you don't lose control. Look at what humans are doing. Have you ever seen a professional gymnast? They can get their body so controlled that they can walk across a balance beam, and that's not enough. They can jump up and down on the balance beam, and that's not enough. They can jump up, do a flip, and land back on the balance beam, and that's not enough. They can do handstands and backflips and tumbles and do a whole entire gymnastics routine, doing things on a balance beam that I can't do on the floor. And how do they do that? Training. Training. What is that? Repetition. It's practice. So let go of this concept I can't control and get into reality. I have an enormous amount of control. And so it starts with using tools like the rule of 7 seconds, meaning you're literally going to look at something that supposedly makes you lose control, and you're going to handle it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is it that your wife or your husband says that triggers you? Next time they trigger you, pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't do anything on the outside. Just blink and breathe. And what you will see by the time you reach the end of that 7 seconds is you have an incredible amount of control. It's so addictive to see all of the control that you have. You may choose to sit for another 7 seconds as you see the energy in the room shift and everyone start to feel uncomfortable and say, oh my goodness, what is with this person? Why aren't they responding? Why aren't they losing control? Why aren't they reacting and yelling and throwing something? Why aren't they cursing? Why are they just sitting there staring at me, blinking and breathing? What is this? We've never seen this. And they'll try to shake you out of it. They'll say, hey, what's going on? Why are you sitting there? But that's a test. That's a test. See if they can bring you back to the old you. But just keep on counting. Just keep on counting. 4, 5, 6. And then only when you have a response that represents your higher mind, a decision that's made about the ice cream that represents the higher way of thinking, only then will you respond. In wisdom, that's discipline. The 9th manifestation is patience. Patience is the ability to remain calm and composed in the face of challenges, delays, and difficulties without becoming annoyed or upset. It's the ability to remain calm when things aren't going your way. You're in a rush and the line is taking so long. Can you be patient? Can you remain calm without getting annoyed and not getting upset? Somebody's talking at you for a long time. Can you be patient? Patience takes a little bit of practice. But when we are reminded of the positive attributes of the people around us and the society around us, in the situation, instead of viewing it as a bane, we view it as a blessing. It puts us into positive thinking. And when we're in positive thinking, it's a lot easier to remain patient. So let's get out of negativity mindset. Let's get into positivity mindset. It is by focusing on the positive things, the positive ideas. I love these people. I love this person. I love this job. We're in gratitude. And that allows us to cultivate these manifestations, these attributes of good energy. So I hope these notes will be an amazing tool for you to use so that you can think on a daily basis and meditate on these deeper concepts of what really shows that you have good energy.